Now, if you've been following along in these Cloud Essentials nuggets in order, you know that we've talked about many characteristics of the cloud. In this nugget, let's focus on those characteristics of the cloud that could have a tremendous impact on your business. A challenge for many organizations today is the ability to grow and grow quickly and efficiently without incurring a lot of expensive costs. This is a reference to scalability, and this is something that we know the cloud brings us. Even better than that, it can bring us that elasticity where we can grow resources and shrink resources on demand as a result of the needs of users consuming the cloud resources. So scalability and elasticity are huge technical things that we move to the cloud for, but they're going to have a tremendous impact on the business. Expanding on that notion a bit, think about capacity planning. This used to be a huge deal before cloud technologies for an IT organization. They are doing studies and they're doing the very best they can to make sure that they're sizing things appropriately. Well, with IaaS as an example, this is not as huge a concern because we can spin up new virtual machines as we need them. We can add load balancing to the equation as we need it. We can add storage as we need it. So it really reduces the capacity planning worries that we might have. With platform as a service, we know there's those software libraries that exist and we can call upon those with a few clicks of the mouse. And with software as a service, we know that we can very easily add or remove users without having a huge impact on the IT organization. And while you've already gotten a sense of just how easy it would be to provision resources that we maybe didn't plan for when it came to capacity, let me do a demonstration here in Amazon Web Services. What I've gone in and done is gone to our EC2 instances and notice I've started an Amazon Linux instance that is in our EC2 instances that we've created. So that is running. What I do is I connect to that instance using Secure Shell, and here we are at the Linux command line, and we can script. We can use commands at the command line to very quickly provision things. Watch this. I'll do AWS, and I'll say S3, that's the storage service, and I'll do MB for make bucket. We call storage vehicles inside of S3 buckets. And what we'll do is we'll use some syntax here for S3. I'll say S3 colon whack whack, and I'll call my bucket a Sequera bucket. And then I'll hit carriage return. And voila, or however you would pronounce that in French, we see that we have a new bucket created. Did that really work? Could it be that easy to create new storage in Amazon Web Services? Well, let's check it out. Let me go back to Services and go to Storage and go under S3, and we should be able to see our storage buckets inside this area. And there it is, the A Sequera bucket. And I can click on it and set its properties, maybe expand it so that it's larger. So when it comes to easily provisioning these resources, we have so many options, don't we? We have a web console, and you've seen me working with that both in Amazon Web Services and in Azure in this course. But we also have the ability to go and script like we just did and automate things at the command line. And finally, there's programming APIs that we can use. So there's a lot of different programming languages that have application programming interfaces, basically hooks, ways in which we can access the services of Amazon using a wide variety of languages. Popular ones include things like Perl and Python. In addition to capacity planning and that great elasticity, another business characteristic that might actually surprise you a little bit when we start moving to cloud services is oftentimes we can pick up enhancements in security. What did I just say? Enhancements in security? So many of us consider security a huge risk when we start doing cloud services, but understand that for many organizations, it dramatically improves security. For instance, those organizations can start taking advantage of the expertise that the cloud engineers possess. Maybe we are really suffering as an organization when it comes to securing our resources, but we know that those engineers that work at cloud providers, they're often total experts in such technologies, and we leverage their expertise to physically secure the hardware and then to go in and add intense security on that box to make sure virtual machines are not accessed by other virtual machines. We start engaging in confidentiality many times better than we would have before. This means making it so that no one can see our data. And this is data that might be stored in a cloud or data that we are moving to and from the cloud. So this is data confidentiality over the network as well as with the data when it's stored. And also, there's an aspect of security called integrity, and we often can benefit from cloud services here. This is to make sure that, let's say, when we're transferring data in or out of the cloud, that the data is not tampered with in any way. That's what it means to provide integrity to the data. Many companies, I'll say it again, struggle with these aspects of security and cloud services, and relying on the outsourcing of security often really benefits that organization. Finally, two more business characteristics of cloud that we tend to really enjoy is the fact that cloud can help us make things available. Not only because with cloud services, we have that great anytime, anywhere access, but also because we can easily go in and take advantage of more advanced technologies, like load balancing can be so easy to set up with cloud. This is where we might have multiple web servers, for instance, and then we have what's called a load balancer to distribute the client requests across those devices. Thanks to cloud, these devices can be located in dramatically different places across the world. So we could have a US presence, a London presence, a presence in Japan, and we're making the correct resources available to users across these different systems. The pricing models are a huge business characteristic that we enjoy. We can trade out those fixed costs for those variable costs, and we love that. We don't have to sink a bunch of money to the IT infrastructure. We can instead just pay for what we're using as we go, much more like an electric bill type of concept. So yes, while there's a bunch of technical aspects to cloud, so many of those technical aspects are going to relate directly to our business. These include elasticity and scalability, capacity planning, security, availability, and the awesome flexible pricing models that we tend to get with cloud. I hope you found this informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.